Everybody, welcome to Self-Care Sunday Live. It is such a privilege to get to be with you today. I unfortunately am pressed for time this Sunday. I was hoping that something would be ready to go. It's not, and that is okay. We'll still get to work on something together. I have a conspiracy to invite you into. But first, I just wanted to take a moment of silence in honor of my recently departed grandmother. Grandma Bobbie, Elaine Warblood Moore, will be missed. She was 89 years old. This is my mother's mother. And I was blessed to have a best friend in my grandma. We had a routine for several years when I was living uptown at my parents' apartment where I would go over there before I was volunteering later in the afternoon down the block. And we'd have lunch, share about each other's lives, and hang out. Sometimes I'd take a nap, and she'd scratch my head. And we told each other things that we had never told anybody else, and just got to know each other as peers. And I think as time went on, she got to sort of live a particular adventure that was unrealized in her personal life through me with Wolf 359, as she was somebody who really loved the arts and was one of the best art lecturers in New York City. She wanted to be an actor at one point in her life and had auditioned for a bunch of audio dramas back in the heyday of radio. And so it was kind of cool that her grandson got to do that for her. And I appreciate all the well wishes I've gotten. Y'all have been incredible to me and to the rest of the Wolf 359 team as we've had to delay a couple times in light of this. I had the great privilege of getting to hold her hand on Tuesday while the rest of my family needed some air. They had been there a lot more than I was over the last week, and I had luckily had a couple hours with my grandma, sort of alert and conscious, getting to, to talk and interact. And while she couldn't talk much, I could tell she was there. And I got to hold her hand, sit next to her, and tell her just how much love she brought into the world. And how we've got each other and we'll take care of each other. I know she was really concerned about leaving her boyfriend. She would say, he just needs love. He needs so much love. And I want to give him that love. And it's just like, I totally got it. And it's just, I think, a little microcosm of who she was for anyone that met her and is a human being that could use love, which is everyone. So I'd love to take a moment of silence for my sweet grandma. In the week that she was in the palliative care ward, which I used to think dying in a hospital might be a nightmare because of all the beeping and the people and the, sort of agita. This was an incredible ward that is sort of a hospice palliative care. It's designed for people who are passing. And she just had all the attention she could possibly want, all the pain medication she literally demanded, and an incredible view of Central Park. And I had the great privilege of not only obviously getting to be with her that day, but in the week preceding, I got to return the favor of scratching her head while she napped, which was a lot of fun for both of us. Just a cute moment in the eye of that particular storm. So anyway, I thought I'd share something special with you guys today. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of this community bridge and Type Here 452. And I have seen a bunch of you in the chat. I don't want to scroll up because whatever. It's just us. Nears H, Niam M, Sarah Beth Bradley, Mofi Adrian, Naomi Cotton. So great. So great to see you guys here. Nizzy, Emir, Perla, Robert. Love you guys. So great to have you here. Sarah Beth Bradley, good night. Come back later for an announcement about something that I'm going to be experimenting with, and for anybody who'd like to join, that should be fun. Yeah. Before I get to that November experiment, I have this experiment, which is a debut of a video that probably will go up on a client of mine, a partner, client, friend of mine's channel. I've been working with an incredible therapist. I don't quite have the words right now to describe exactly why they're as awesome as they are. They just bring a lot of different modalities together. And yeah, specifically, this technique, in addition to sort of psychotherapy and talk therapy, this technique of focusing, which is sort of, for lack of a better expression, form of active listening that I think is just beautiful. And this was supposed to be a mic test that we were doing. Yeah, it really became something special that I immediately felt like we should share, which was a conversation about my grandma the week before she passed. Second, I want to pull it up. Her name is Lynn Preston, by the way. Sorry about that. Just like talking on and on about this person. Lynn Preston, who a friend introduced me to, and I'll put her website in the description below. But yeah, I just thought that it would be nice to play this clip. We're just in her living room where she conducts therapy and has certain groups, different communities show up. And she's a little bit hard of sight, so we've been working together so that she can build a YouTube channel without any assistance. And it's amazing me how well she can. She's better at an iPad than I am. And so this is us filming on her iPhone, and eventually she'd edit this herself. So this is sort of a raw take. I cut out the end of it just because we kind of blather on after we finish the sort of formal part of the session. Here, without further ado, here goes nothing. That seems to have not done anything. What is Self-Care Sunday without a tech problem? I would love to know. All right, let's give this another try. Really? Oh boy. I even tested it too. That's a whole thing. Hooray, tech problems. One more try. Maybe. Maybe if we do this. Great.
Do you listen to Krista Tippett?
No, I don't listen to Krista Tippett.
Do you know about her?
I'm not sure I do.
It's a podcast called On Being. And she's a wonderful interviewer.
See if this goes down.
You might check her out.
Great.
Because she's a good model for, not for focusing, but for that kind of conversation where you're drawing somebody out. Okay, so we're
rolling.
We're
good.
rolling. Oh, wow. Okay. So, we're just going to see what happens if you talk about anything that's of concern to you.
Okay.
And we'll see how we draw that out.
Sure. There's so many different areas of my life I could talk about, and I guess I'm just catching myself wanting to pick the right one,
yes,
which is
of
which is the
course.
one that's really gonna pay off, but then also which is the one that's safer for the posterity. So
in focusing, there's a sense of what wants to be talked about. It's like paying attention to it. There's always an it, and there's a bunch of people. Somebody raises their hands. I want to be talked about, and maybe you could tune into that.
Sure.
Might not be the most important thing. It might be, or it might be anything.
So, one thing that wants to be talked about is my grandma is, I think it's safe to say, on her deathbed.
Oh, wow.
She has been sort of wobbling on that line for a couple of years. And I got the call that she's in palliative care. She made the choice with her most recent bowel obstruction, which has some kind of internal hemorrhaging going on with it. And basically it was, you either need to go to emergency surgery now and like probably die anyway and really uncomfortably, or we can make you as comfortable as we can for however many days you have left.
Yes, yeah.
And as somebody who has clung to life in the ways that she has, at least how I've projected that she has, but also we've talked about it, I consider her one of my best friends, and we say kind of anything to each other.
Wow, so she's clung to life and talked about that.
Yeah, she doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the end of the day, she made the choice and is now in this beautiful room, like overlooking Central Park. It's like not at all what I imagine and what I've seen death in a hospital being like. Like, it's really beautiful, and the people are amazing in the ward, and like, it really is seems like a wonderful place to leave.
Yeah.
And like a death doula came by with a dog, like, you know, it's like summer camp.
Oh, wow.
But you're dying.
Yes.
And
it's a strange juxtaposition.
oh my God,
isn't it?
yeah, and like the kids are down the hall, like the newborns, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so it really is like a full wheel.
Yes.
And I just find a lot of different emotions arising about it.
Well, maybe that's a place to just pause and see what arises about that.
Mostly it's just my love for this person and just the conversation that we have between generations and a family. Like, it's just magic.
Really?
I mean,
It's really amazing.
it's ridiculous. It's like, you know, like, there's some things that she's said to me that I promised to never tell, but like some marital difficulties that she dealt with my grandfather, who she got divorced from. Like, we've talked frankly about this, and it's incredible to hear her experience and just like how relevant that is for this day, like this moment, like how unfortunately relevant it is. So that's like, and then, you know, from my side, you know, I was like exploring polyamory and like, you know, like discovering my queerness, and like, she's like, ooh, what's a trans person? You know, I'm like, let me tell you, Grandma.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, like,
and she was open to that.
she was like, I'm so curious. I knew none of it, you know.
Really?
And like her perspective of kind of getting scooped up really early, and her feelings of unworthiness that had her jump into the arms of somebody who ended up kind of being kind of a cad. And if I am using that word correctly, you know, basically just like, you know, madman. Like, he was an executive in that day and age, and you know, so yeah. So I think what the first thing that comes up for me is just the gratitude and the love and the just awe of the miracle of our relationship, and then the like right next to it is the guilt of all the times that I was like gonna call, and all the times I was gonna visit, and all the you know, kicking the can down the road, knowing that this week would come.
Yes. Let's give a minute to that first one, because sometimes the positive doesn't get the same airplay, you know, of this gratitude and the miracle and the love. And your whole face lights up when you talk about her and these deep conversations with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's very special and unusual and amazing. Yeah.
It feels that way.
And then next to it is this feeling of guilt, and I was going to call, I was going to...
Yeah, and like for years, so like my family has, my immediate family has all done landmark education, and you know, I think all of us used to be leaders in the organization at some point in our lives, and so my grandma's been around it for decades, and if anybody could use some transformation, my grandma could. And it's like for years it's just been I don't want any of that.
She doesn't want any of the landmark stuff.
No, and my parents gave up, and there was a period of my life and a period of our relationship where I really think I credit the work that I was doing at the time at Landmark for getting me to reconnect and make more time for my grandma.
Yeah.
And a lot of that time was me arguing and debating and fucking bullying her into doing this stupid course. That's a great course that I'm sure she would have got a lot out of, but it was just such a such a me hitting my head against the wall. It was just such a waste of time, I think. I don't know, I also think that we found an edge to our relationship and were able to really talk frankly with each other in that space.
I get that.
But I guess I'm still frustrated that I just wanted the best for her, and I just wanted her to get some freedom around the things that I think she's going to go to her grave regretting and worried about, and I've seen people resolve stuff so much more serious and intense in those weekends. And it's if it were ice cream, I'd be crazy about her eating ice cream even if she didn't want to try it.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes. You were trying so hard to give her something that was a gift from you.
And she all she heard was bullying, and it was that killed me.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to do that. That's what my grandfather did. And, it's ironic, in those courses is where I discovered how I made decisions out of that relationship with that man.
Yes. Let me see if I get that irony, because that's really important.
Yeah.
That it was out of this experience that you got the courage, the impetus, the know-how.
That's where I got freed up from being bullied and being a bully to overcome
and
that
to want to connect with her. And you so wanted the best for her, but the way that the dynamic was, she felt bullied and controlled and pressured, and there's something heartbreaking and ironic about that. But there was also this little edge that was that was the encounter, right? That you came up against her, you wanted this, she didn't want it, you pushed the two of you met nose to nose in that spot. It was very authentic.
Yes.
It was very real.
I think it was, yeah.
And she wasn't being bullied by you.
You think?
Well, something in the way you said that, it was
it wasn't I mean, I don't, you know what I mean?
This happened, the two of you together were in this struggle that was very genuine for both of you.
You could say that, yeah.
But let's see how that feels when I say that, because that isn't really what you had in mind.
Yeah, well, I think it's you saying that is resonant on there are a couple relationships in my life that I can think of where I had it I was messing up or doing it wrong, or just kind of being too much. And over the years I've had other perspectives from various different sources and for various different reasons, where it's oh, that was just me projecting that. It was actually maybe a different way. That's just a story I made up about it. I don't know if I need to give examples, but I had it I really did something wrong in a romantic relationship I had in college, And a friend reminded me that, like, from his perspective, she just like stopped talking to me for like 4 to 6 months, and like that was weird of her. It was like, oh my god, that's so validating. Like, and yes, I think we could go into it, but I think I had that was my around the time that I had a real mental health episode in college, and was really overwhelmed at times. Just like basically a couple nights a week, I was like this really everyday boisterous, like alive, sort of creative force on campus. And then a couple nights a week alone with my girlfriend, I would just like break down into like inconsolable, sort of existential angst. And for no discernible reason. And I think it's just like some manifestation of something that never went diagnosed, but in looking at it after the fact with a clinician on campus, like just getting outside and like, just like a couple of self-care practices really made a difference. But my point being that like that relationship, and like I'm in a growing pain in a relationship with a friend of mine where we're both upset at each other for related but sort of different reasons around communication, and both feel the other person hasn't been communicating with the other, or hasn't really been listening to the other. And I guess hearing what you just said is like, oh, maybe it's not like I'm right or she's right, or I'm wrong or she's wrong, and it's not about winning or losing, or like there's even a right answer, like,
Right.
Like,
so it was something about my sort of seeing the genuineness of that encounter with your grandmother, that
taking the scoreboard out of the room and not having it be like, Zach, like you messed up as a good grandson by like pushing a course, because like at the end of the day, what I was literally saying, now that I think about it, wasn't do the course, it was like get some freedom. And I think that this, and like our conversations are great, and you're going to hear stuff in a room with 180 other people that have had experiences that you've had that I can't share about, or that we just will never relate on.
Yes. So you could sort of have a sense of your own motivation, and rather than feeling like something went wrong and it was your fault.
Right. Like I definitely think I was guilty of being pushy and weird and bully-like and not great. You know what I mean? Like I definitely did that, but I don't think it was like, I think that was like maybe like 1% of the time, right? And then I'd catch it because I like to look when people are like, stop it, like, and tell me to rethink what I'm doing. And I'm like, I kind of try to take people earnestly. And I tend to jump on my own sword. Like I think that I'm more prone to, sort of 20 lashings, 50 Hail Marys, and like, I think I default to being a good boy more often than not.
Yes.
And it can be a trap for me.
So how does it feel to have this moment of not jumping on your own sword? A moment of saying, well,
just opening.
Maybe it's not all maybe I didn't do something so wrong.
I just feel a lot of space right now, just like easier to breathe. There's like a tension in my solar plexus that I can have, that kind of feel a little looser being with this, and I think I'm more alive to that joy immediately.
To the joy.
And just to the miracle of our time together, and that we wouldn't have the relationship that we have if we hadn't done that.
Yes. Oh, I'm taking that in. That you wouldn't have this miracle, this closeness, this intimacy,
if you
hadn't gone through that. Yeah.
And like, my commitment to her is that she lived powerfully and lived the life she loved. Like that's the tagline of the program, that I like, that's what I wanted for her. Whether it's I don't care what circus it happened in, and if it happened in our hangouts, all the better for it.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, it's her life, and I can't pee for her. It's like one of my coaches used to say, like, we can't pee for you. And I'm like, I think you have some things that are incomplete around your relationship with Grandpa, and like other like men in your life that I know of, and probably other people in your life that I don't know of, And like, I would love for you to die complete, because I think that that's an incredible opportunity for a human being. Just like, period. And I love you, so of course I would want that for you.
You want that for her.
And it's like, what I think complete looks like isn't necessarily what complete needs to look like. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I have a
But
picture in my head.
you want that for her, but your picture might
I'm attached
not
to something
be
that may be disconnected from
from
reality.
who she is, or
Yeah.
what
or
her
like,
picture
Who, you know,
is.
yeah, like, who knows?
So maybe that's a place for us to sort of wind down there,
Yeah.
that sense that you wanted that so much for her, but maybe that picture that you had wasn't the same for her, and that's such a hard thing to get, that the ones we love maybe don't have the same picture or way of seeing or feeling or being it that we want for them.
Yeah. But if I had to choose between, like, no relationship or the one that I have the way it is and the way that it isn't, and like no changes, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I of course, like, a million times over would pick it exactly the way it is.
Oh yes, yeah. You would pick it exactly the way it is.
Over not at all, like, you know what I mean? Like, absolutely.
And maybe
Yeah.
this conversation is a way of saying goodbye to her, a way of honoring her and being with her. I feel so glad to be introduced to her. And she joined us in this space.
Yeah. She asked me the other day, we had a really beautiful hour to ourselves, that when she's gone, in physical form, to relate to her as if she's still here.
Oh, wow.
To talk to her. And act as if she's in the room with me, because if she has anything to say about it, she will be.
Oh, yes. Yes. What a wonderful invitation.
Yeah.
To sort of continue the relationship even when she isn't here in body.
Yeah.
That you can still talk to her. And that she wants to answer you and be with you and dialogue with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for all the kind words, and for your attention, and for, just for being. It's wonderful to get to connect with this community at the end of the week. It's incredibly enlivening for me, and purposeful, and I love you. Thanks for being here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to sort of chime in. Yeah. Oh, Mitzrayim, that's very... I feel connected to you hearing you share that. Thanks for sharing. I really appreciate you guys saying that, Alexi. I think one of my intentions in sharing this is so that people who've considered taking advantage of what therapy has to offer can get a little bit of a demystification of what happens behind the curtain. In addition to me feeling like this is a profound and personal aspect of my grandmother's legacy, and that in sharing this and hopefully the love and connection that this makes available between us and between anybody in your life for whom you found some resonance with what was shared or, sort of considered. I highly encourage random acts of love. So if there's somebody that you're thinking of that you've been wanting to forgive or wanting to let know just how much they mean to you, or, if there's some self-love you've been depriving who, for whatever reason, I just invite you to get off it and let love win, for whatever it's worth. Easier said than done, I know. But thanks for listening. So yeah, I'm very, very happy to take any questions. And in the meantime, I am going to load up this experiment that I'd love to share. So switching gears quite drastically, now is the part of the show where I ask you, have you ever heard of NaNoWriMo before? NaNoWriMo is obviously, if you haven't heard of it, NaNoWriMo.org. NaNoWriMo, I'm not exactly sure what the correct pronunciation is. But it's essentially this place where in November, people from around the world get together to write a novel. And it's a very cool organization. I have never done it personally. I've known about it for a couple of years, and I've wanted to do something like it. But I don't necessarily have the interest in writing a novel. And that's why I thought it might be fun to write a script in November, which is exactly what it sounds like, which is to say it's just like NaNoWriMo, but for script writing, sort of the hipster NaNoWriMo, if it wasn't hipster enough already. Yeah, I am not sure I'm going to have the time to do. That's one of the reasons why I'm not sure I want to do a novel, but I definitely have had some interest in writing a script, and I'm not sure if it's an audio drama. I'm not sure if it's like web videos. It might be a feature film. It might be a series of sketches. I don't totally know, but I know it wants to be a script, whatever it is I'm trying to write. So I thought it might be fun to work with anybody who might be interested in writing alongside our brothers and sisters and humans in arms who are interested in NaNoWriMo, but maybe we just want to do something a little different. I'm working out the kinks of the back end of this. So this is right now just like a sign up list, and something will go out next Saturday, next Sunday for sure. That is an update with some resources and an invitation to the community of folks who will be, sort of available for each other to do this. I just wanted to take a sec to go through with you guys and maybe change some of these things and edit it together. The website isn't quite live yet, but it will be at Wriscrivember.org or writeascriptinnovember.org, but it is not ready quite yet. But in the meantime, I was thinking, it takes a village, and there can be a community, which is great. You can kind of customize it exactly the way you like, and this is a link to Lauren Chippen's Amazing News, who is the creator of the Bright Sessions podcast, if you listen to audio dramas, which got a TV deal. And so you never know if writing the next great audio drama will result in the next Harry Potter or something. I don't know. And then I was thinking that it could be related to charity. I was thinking that the recommended charity could be United for Puerto Rico, and the work that they're doing to make life work again after the storm. Um, and yeah, anyway, you'll be able to see that. Yeah, I want to sort of make this visible, but anyway, in the meantime, um, uh, yeah, I thought it'd be fun for people to be a BAMF um, with this cat thing. My friend found that I thought was really great. Um, so yeah, and I think anybody can give to any cause. Ooh, I was thinking, please forward any. Oh no, Tiffy, stay! Don't go, Tiffy. Don't go. No, Tiffy left the Tiffy cam. Okay. Please forward any receipts to Wriscrivember at uplift.is so we can track the community's achievement. Cool. Feel better about that. I would love any other ideas you guys have. Alas, Tiffy has left us. So yeah, I don't know if these are the only questions that should be asked, but these are what I've thought of so far. Don't worry about formatting. We're gonna like send out resources on how to do that. Same thing for other sorts of questions about technical script things. I think I'm just going to keep that simpler. Okay, yeah, so I think I feel good about this. Maybe this one can go later. Awesome. Well, so yeah, I guess trying to think if this is working. No, why is it not working? Wriscrivember.org. Ooh, something's working. So you can go to www.wriscrivember.org. And eventually it'll redirect completely right. I'm just scrolling back to see what is going on. Maybe some stuff about getting input from sharing with the community will work. That's a great idea, Robert. Beautiful. I'm going to add that frequently asked question. Cool. Okay, great. And publish. Guys, this has been so exciting. Um, oh, thank you. So yeah, that is today's self-care Sunday. Um, Definitely hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions about this, or in the comments after this video is not live and it's a perma video, because I'd love to answer any questions. Um, yeah, I will be in touch soon about all this stuff. I think next week I will finally be airing an interview that I've been sitting on for way too long with an incredible artist, Seitu Jones, recent recipient of the Art Prize. And if you're interested, I may or may not prepare a guided meditation exercise for y'all. It's something that might be worth doing. I just saw somebody talking about that meditation thing. So, yeah, that's something that we could do together. In the meantime, I love you guys. It's been real. And I just so appreciate this space. And I hope you have a lovely week. Until next time.